A true reset is never loud. You don't announce it. You don't explain it. You don't ask permission. Real change begins when you step back into silence, when you cut the noise, reset your mind, restart your discipline, and refocus your life without anyone watching. No applause, no validation. Just quiet decisions made when it would be easier to stay the same. This is how unbreakable people are built. Not through motivation, not through public promises, but through stoic control, mastering your reactions, withdrawing your attention from chaos, and rebuilding your inner foundation piece by piece, in silence, where weakness can't perform and strength has to be real. Today, you'll learn 7 Stoic rules, not advice, not hacks, but laws for resetting your life when it's been scattered, restarting yourself after failure, and refocusing your energy on what actually matters. These principles don't make you louder, they make you harder to break. If you're ready to reset without explaining, restart without approval, and refocus until nothing can shake you, prove it. Comment below, I rebuild in silence. Number 1. Master the morning before the world wakes. You're losing the war before breakfast. The first 30 minutes after you wake up determine the quality of your entire day, and you're throwing them away. Scrolling, checking notifications, absorbing other people's emergencies, opinions, problems, before you've even acknowledged your own existence. You're letting the world program you instead of programming yourself. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive. Not as a platitude, as a practice, as a deliberate choice about where to direct his mind first. The morning is sacred ground. It's the only time you're guaranteed to have yourself before the world makes its demands. Before the emails, before the calls, before the expectations and obligations and noise. That time belongs to you, but you keep giving it away. In silence, before the sun rises, before anyone needs you, you establish who you are. You don't react to the world. You prepare for it. You don't check what everyone else is doing. You decide what you're going to do. This isn't about waking up at 4 in the morning. This is about claiming whatever morning you have. 30 minutes, 1 hour. Whatever you can protect. And in that time, you do the work that builds you instead of depletes you. Move your body. Even if it's just stretching, just walking, just breathing with intention. Your body carries stress you don't even know about. Release it before it compounds. Feed your mind something worthy. Read something that elevates you. Not news, not drama, not the algorithm's choice, your choice. Philosophy, wisdom, truth that stood the test of time. Clarify your intention. What matters today? Not what's urgent. What matters? Not what other people need from you. What you need from yourself. Write it down. 3 things. The non-negotiables that will make today meaningful regardless of what chaos unfolds. The world will throw everything at you the moment you engage with it. Messages demanding responses. Problems demanding solutions. People demanding attention. If you haven't established your center first, you'll spend the entire day responding to external pressure instead of acting from internal purpose. You think you don't have time for this, but you have time to scroll for 20 minutes. You have time to lie in bed hitting snooze. You have time to start your day in reactive mode, jumping from one fire to the next. You have time. You're just spending it poorly. When you master the morning, you're not just changing a routine. You're claiming ownership of your life. You're saying, I decide how this starts. And that decision ripples through everything that follows. The people who seem unshakable. They've built this foundation. They don't rely on motivation or perfect circumstances. They've created a morning practice that anchors them regardless of what the day brings. In silence, before the noise begins, You become someone the noise can't touch. You fill yourself with clarity so the confusion can't empty you. You build strength so the stress can't break you. Start tomorrow, not next Monday, not when things calm down. Tomorrow. Wake up and give yourself the gift of 30 minutes that belong only to you. Protect them like your life depends on it, because the quality of your life does depend on it. If you're committed to taking back control of your day, let me see it in the comments. I own my morning. Number 2, speak less, notice more. Your mouth is writing checks your awareness can't cash. You talk too much, not because you're sharing wisdom, because you're filling space, filling silence, filling the void where actual observation should live. Every word you speak is energy you're not using to understand what's actually happening around you. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, said it perfectly. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen more than we say. But you're doing the opposite. Broadcasting, explaining, defending, proving, performing, all while missing everything that matters. Silence isn't empty. It's full of information you're too busy talking to receive. When you stop filling every gap with words, you start seeing patterns you've been blind to. You notice body language, tone shifts, the things people aren't saying, the truth hiding behind the performance. Most people talk to avoid thinking. They narrate their lives instead of living them. They explain their intentions instead of demonstrating them. They discuss their plans instead of executing them. And all that talking creates an illusion of progress while nothing actually changes. In silence, you become dangerous. Not in a harmful way, in a powerful way. Because people reveal themselves to those who know how to listen. They tell you exactly who they are, what they want, what they fear. But you'll never hear it if you're too busy talking about yourself. This isn't about becoming mute. It's about becoming intentional. Every word should serve a purpose. Either it adds value, builds connection, solves a problem, or it shouldn't be spoken. Small talk? Fine in small doses. But endless conversation about nothing. That's just noise you're adding to an already noisy world. Watch the person who speaks the least in any room. Often, they're the most respected, because when they do speak, it means something. Their words carry weight, because they're not diluted by constant chatter. They've been watching, listening, understanding, and when they contribute, it lands. In silence, you also notice yourself, the urge to interrupt, the need to be right, the compulsion to share your opinion on everything. These aren't signs of engagement, they're signs of insecurity. You're trying to prove you exist by making noise. Start practicing strategic silence. In conversations, listen to understand, not to respond. Let the other person finish completely. Wait 3 seconds before you speak. Notice what happens in that pause. Notice what you learn that you would have missed if you'd jumped in immediately. Stop explaining yourself constantly. Your actions speak. Your character speaks. Your consistency speaks. People who need endless explanations aren't listening anyway. People who are paying attention don't need them. Notice the world around you, the details you've been missing because you're trapped in your own narrative, the opportunities hiding in plain sight, the warnings you've been ignoring, the beauty you've been too distracted to see. When you speak less, your words gain power. When you notice more, your decisions gain precision. You stop reacting to surface-level information and start responding to deeper truths. This shift changes relationships. You stop arguing about what was said and start understanding what was meant. You stop taking things personally because you see the pain behind the attack. You stop trying to convince people and start recognizing who's actually ready to hear you. In silence, you develop discernment, the ability to separate signal from noise, truth from performance, substance from theater. And that discernment becomes your competitive advantage in a world drowning in meaningless content. So, close your mouth, open your eyes, let the world teach you what your talking has been preventing you from learning. If you're done wasting words and ready to build real power, drop this below. My silence is my strength. Number 3, treat your energy like currency. You're exhausted because you keep giving yourself away for free. Every notification, every conversation, every drama, every problem that isn't yours. You scatter your energy across things that don't deserve it, then wonder why your focus is gone, why your goals feel distant, why you show up for everyone else but not for yourself. Seneca warned about this. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. What we waste isn't just hours, it's attention, intention, and effort. The parts of life that actually shape who you become. Every interaction has a cost. Some are intentional. They align with your values. They strengthen your character. They move your life forward. Most are unexamined. They pull you into noise, distraction, and emotional labor that adds nothing to your path. And you keep allowing them. In silence, you audit your life honestly. You look at where your attention goes. The friend who only calls to unload. The family member who thrives on chaos. The co-worker who lives in complaint. The pointless online arguments that leave you agitated and unchanged. Each one consumes focus. And focus, once scattered, is hard to reclaim. Here is the Stoic truth. Time is fixed. Attention is chosen. When your attention is constantly divided, your discipline weakens, your clarity fades, your ability to act with purpose collapses, so you must become selective. Not cold, not cruel, deliberate. Some things deserve your presence, your principles, your responsibilities, your craft, your growth, the people who truly matter. Everything else must be limited or removed. Stop responding to everything immediately. Stop attending out of obligation. Stop engaging in every conflict. Stop carrying burdens that aren't yours. That isn't virtue. That's negligence toward yourself. In silence, you learn the difference between what requires action and what merely demands reaction. Most urgency is manufactured. Most problems don't need your involvement. Most drama survives only with your attention. When chaos reaches for you, you choose, react and lose control, or pause and act with reason. The people who seem disciplined aren't immune to distraction. They simply guard their attention. They decide where effort goes. They withdraw from what weakens them and commit to what strengthens them. You think giving everyone access makes you good. It doesn't. It makes you fragmented, and a fragmented mind cannot live well. In silence, you restore order. You step back. You disengage. You allow your mind to settle, not to escape life, but to meet it with clarity and self-command. This isn't selfishness. This is Stoic responsibility. If you're finally going to stop giving yourself away to everyone, declare it right here. Affirmation: I protect my energy. Number 4. Build yourself where no one's watching. Your private discipline determines your public power. Everyone sees the result. Nobody sees the repetition, the hours you spent alone, the failures you worked through in silence, the moments you chose growth over comfort when no camera was recording. That's where real strength is built, not on stage, in the shadows. Epictetus understood this deeply. He said, "First learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak." He meant stop performing before you've prepared. Stop announcing before you've achieved. Stop seeking validation for effort that hasn't produced results yet. The world is full of people who talk about what they're going to do, what they're working on, what they're building, and most of them never finish, because the talking gives them the dopamine hit they should be getting from the doing. The attention replaces the achievement. In silence, you do the work nobody applauds. You study when everyone else is sleeping. You practice when everyone else is partying. You refine your craft when everyone else is consuming content. You build the foundation that will hold the weight of success nobody's watching you earn. This is the discipline the world doesn't see. The manuscript you're writing at 5 in the morning. The business you're building after your 9 to 5. The skill you're developing in your spare bedroom. The healing you're doing in therapy. The debt you're paying down dollar by dollar. The body you're rebuilding rep by rep. None of it is glamorous. None of it gets likes. None of it trends. But it's real. And real work done in private always outperforms fake work done in public. You know why most people fail? They need an audience to perform. When nobody's watching, they don't show up. They need external motivation, external validation, external pressure. Take away the crowd, and their effort disappears. But the people who actually win, they don't need spectators. They're not performing, they're preparing. They understand that every private victory makes public victories inevitable. Think about the athlete training at dawn, the writer working on the 10th draft nobody will ever see, the entrepreneur failing through prototype after prototype, the student reviewing material until it's mastered, not just memorized. None of these moments are Instagram-worthy. All of them are essential. In silence, you develop integrity. Your private actions align with your public claims. You're not saying one thing and doing another. You're not pretending to be someone you're not. You're actually becoming the person you say you want to be. This is where character is forged. Not in the moments everyone's watching. In the moments when you could slack off and nobody would know. When you could cut corners and nobody would notice. When you could quit and nobody would judge you. But you don't. Because you're not doing this for them. You're doing this for you. You're building something that can't be taken away because it's built into who you are. Stop documenting every step of your journey. Stop fishing for encouragement. Stop needing permission to continue. Just work. Just build. Just grow. In silence. In private. In the space where results matter more than recognition. The recognition will come. Or it won't. But either way, you'll have built something real. You'll have developed skills nobody can take from you. You'll have created value that exists whether anyone acknowledges it or not. Your private discipline is your secret weapon. While everyone else is distracted by appearances, you're accumulating actual competence. While they're posting about the grind, you're actually grinding. While they're talking about consistency, you're being consistent. In silence, you become formidable. Not because you're trying to impress anyone, because you're genuinely improving. And when you finally step into the light, the gap between you and everyone who was just performing becomes obvious. The world rewards what it sees, but it's built on what it doesn't. Every building has a foundation nobody photographs. Every champion has hours of practice nobody witnessed. Every success has a backstory of silent preparation. Be willing to be invisible while you're becoming inevitable. Be willing to work without applause. Be willing to build without an audience. That's where real power comes from. Number 5, measure progress by what you no longer need. Growth isn't just about adding, it's about subtracting. You think you're improving because you're learning more, doing more, achieving more. But real evolution happens when you need less. Less validation, less distraction, less drama, less stuff, less noise, less proving, less explaining, less external confirmation that you're worthy. Marcus Aurelius captured this perfectly. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. He ruled an empire. He had access to everything. And he understood that accumulation doesn't equal advancement. Most people are adding complexity to their lives and calling it progress. More apps, more commitments, more possessions, more connections, more content, more everything, and they're drowning in the more. In silence, you realize what you've outgrown. the friendships that no longer serve you, the habits that no longer align with who you're becoming, the beliefs that were never yours to begin with, the need to be right in every argument, the compulsion to fill every silence, the addiction to being busy. Letting go of these things isn't loss, it's liberation. Every unnecessary thing you release creates space for something essential to grow. Think about the person you were a year ago. What did that version of you need that you don't need now? Maybe you needed constant reassurance. Maybe you needed to know what everyone thought about you. Maybe you needed alcohol to relax, or social media to feel connected, or shopping to feel valuable. What have you outgrown? That's the real measurement of growth. Not what you've gained, what you've transcended. You used to need the last word. Now you can let people be wrong. You used to need to be included in everything. Now you value your solitude. You used to need to prove yourself constantly. Now your work speaks for itself. You used to need revenge. Now you need peace. This is strength, not the strength to acquire, the strength to release, to walk away from what no longer serves you, to say no to good things because you're committed to great things, to strip away everything that isn't essential until all that remains is truth. In silence, you practice subtraction. You remove one toxic relationship, one time-wasting habit, one limiting belief, one unnecessary commitment, and you feel lighter, clearer, more yourself. The world tells you success is about more money, more followers, more achievements, more recognition. And sure, those things can matter, but they're not the measure of whether you're actually growing. Growth is internal. It's the expansion of your capacity to handle life without falling apart, to face challenges without needing someone to save you, to be alone without being lonely, to be successful without being validated, to be enough without proving it. You know you're growing when the things that used to trigger you don't anymore. When the opinions that used to wreck you bounce off. When the losses that used to destroy you teach you instead. When the silence that used to terrify you becomes your sanctuary. Start measuring yourself differently. Don't ask what you accomplished this month. Ask what you no longer need, what fear you released, what insecurity you healed, what attachment you surrendered, what performance you stopped putting on. That's the real work, not building a better mask, removing the mask entirely, not creating a more impressive version of yourself, becoming the most authentic version, not adding more to your life, clearing out everything that's blocking your life from flowing naturally. In silence, you subtract your way to your true self. You remove the conditioning, the expectations, the should-bes, the performances, the pretending, until all that's left is who you actually are, and that person doesn't need half of what you've been carrying. Number 6, respond to life. Don't react to it. There's a gap between what happens and what you do about it, and your entire future lives in that gap. Most people collapse that space. Something happens and they explode. Someone says something and they fire back. An obstacle appears and they panic. They're living on autopilot, letting circumstances control their responses, wondering why their life feels out of control. Viktor Frankl discovered the most powerful truth about human freedom. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. He learned this in hell. You can learn it right now. Every moment offers you a choice you're not taking. Someone cuts you off in traffic. You can rage, or you can breathe and let it go. Someone criticizes your work. You can defend, or you can consider if there's truth worth examining. Your plan fails. You can spiral, or you can adjust. The reaction is automatic. The response is intentional. Reaction comes from your past programming, your wounds, your ego. Response comes from your wisdom, your values, your choice. In silence, you create that gap. You practice the pause. You train yourself to stop, breathe, and choose instead of just exploding into whatever your nervous system defaults to. This isn't about suppressing emotion. It's about not being controlled by it. Feel the anger, notice the fear, acknowledge the hurt. Then decide what you're going to do with it. Don't hand your power to the emotion. Use the emotion as information, not instruction. Watch how most people operate. Someone insults them, and they spend 3 days composing the perfect comeback. Someone succeeds, and they spend hours feeling jealous. Someone disappoints them, and they burn the entire relationship down. All reaction, zero response. They're not choosing their actions. Their triggers are choosing for them, and then they wonder why their life keeps producing the same painful patterns. You're different, or you're about to be, because you're learning to widen that gap, to live in that space between what happens to you and what you do about it. Start small. The next time someone says something that usually triggers you, pause, count to 3, breathe. Then choose your words instead of spitting out the first thing that comes to mind. Notice how different it feels. Notice how much power you reclaim. The next time something goes wrong, instead of immediately catastrophizing, ask yourself, what's the best response here? Not the fastest, not the most satisfying to your ego. The best. The one that actually moves you toward your goals instead of just making you feel momentarily vindicated. In silence, you rehearse this. You think about the situations that typically make you react. Your boss criticizing you, your partner forgetting something important, your friend canceling plans, traffic, delays, disappointments. You visualize the pause. You practice the response. Because when the moment comes, you won't have time to think. You'll either react from programming or respond from practice. And practice happens in silence before the moment, so you're ready when it arrives. This is how you break generational patterns. Your parents reacted, and it created chaos. You're going to respond, and it's going to create peace. Their triggers controlled them. Your wisdom will guide you. This is how you earn respect. People who react are predictable, easy to manipulate, easy to dismiss. People who respond are powerful, grounded, impossible to shake. They can't be baited into arguments. They can't be provoked into poor decisions. They can't be controlled by external circumstances. Your reaction gives away your power. Your response demonstrates your strength. One says, "You control me." The other says, "I control me." Think about the last time you reacted poorly. Maybe you sent an angry text. Maybe you made a decision in the heat of emotion. Maybe you said something you can't take back. How did that work out? Did it solve anything, or did it create more problems? Now think about a time you paused and responded wisely. You felt the anger, but chose calm. You wanted to quit, but chose persistence. You could have burned a bridge, but chose understanding. That choice probably served you better. That's the pattern you're building now. Not perfection, not emotionless control, just the growing ability to choose your response instead of being hijacked by your reactions. In silence, you become the person who doesn't give their power away, who doesn't let other people's chaos become their chaos, who doesn't mistake emotional outbursts for strength. You become someone who can be trusted to handle pressure because you've learned to handle yourself. The gap between stimulus and response is where your freedom lives. Start living there. Number 7. Find meaning in the repetition. Your life isn't going to be a highlight reel, and that's exactly where the power is. You're waiting for the big moment, the breakthrough, the transformation, the day everything clicks and your life becomes what you've been dreaming about. And while you're waiting, you're dismissing today, this ordinary, unremarkable, repetitive today. But this is it. This is your life, not the future moment you're fantasizing about. This repetition, these small choices, this boring discipline, this unglamorous consistency. The Stoics knew this. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present, not because the present is always exciting, because it's all you actually have. Every day you wake up and do essentially the same things. You make the same choices. You face the same challenges. And you keep thinking that's the problem. It's not. That's the practice. That's where transformation actually happens. The magic isn't in the moment you finally achieve the goal. It's in the 1,000 days you showed up before anyone cared. It's in the repetition you committed to when it wasn't producing visible results. It's in finding meaning in the process instead of waiting for meaning to arrive with the outcome. In silence, you make peace with this. You stop romanticizing the future and start honoring the present. You understand that every rep counts, every page read, every healthy meal, every kind word, every moment of discipline when no one's watching. This is how great things are built, not through inspiration, through repetition. The writer writes every day, even when the words are terrible. The athlete trains every day, even when progress is invisible. The entrepreneur works every day, even when revenue is zero. They find meaning in the showing up, in the commitment, in becoming someone who does what they said they'd do, regardless of how they feel or what results they're seeing. You want the transformation without the tedium. You want the destination without the journey. You want the harvest without the planting, watering, weeding, waiting. It doesn't work that way. The person you're becoming is being built in these repetitive moments. The boring ones, the ones that don't feel significant, the ones where you're tempted to skip, because what difference does one day make? Every difference. One day builds or one day breaks. One day strengthens the pattern or weakens it. One day proves to yourself you're serious or proves you're not. In silence, you find the sacred in the mundane. You stop needing every day to be special and start making every day count. You understand that excellence isn't a special event. It's a daily practice. The world celebrates the anomaly. The overnight success that took 10 years. The championship that required 10,000 hours of practice. The book that became a bestseller after 17 rejections and countless revisions. But they don't celebrate the repetition that made it possible. The unglamorous, unsexy, unremarkable repetition. And that's where you're going to live now. Not waiting for motivation, not chasing inspiration, just doing the work, day after day, rep after rep, choice after choice. Finding meaning not in the highlight, but in the consistency. Because that's what separates people who dream from people who achieve. Dreamers wait for the perfect moment. Achievers make every moment count. Dreamers need to feel ready. Achievers become ready through repetition. Your life is being determined right now in how you spend this ordinary Tuesday, in whether you honor your commitments when no one's checking, in whether you find purpose in the process or keep deferring your life until some imagined future. Stop waiting for your life to start. It's started. This is it. These repetitive days are your one precious life. Find the meaning in them or waste them waiting for meaning to arrive. In silence, you commit to the practice. You show up today and tomorrow and the day after that. Not because it's exciting, because it matters, because this is how real transformation happens. Slowly, quietly, repetitively, powerfully. 7 principles, one truth underneath them all. You already have everything you need to become unbreakable. You don't need more information. You don't need more motivation. You don't need perfect circumstances. You need to commit to the work that happens in silence, where no one's applauding, where nothing feels dramatic, where transformation actually occurs. Master your morning. speak less, and notice more. Protect your energy like it's sacred. Build yourself in private. Measure growth by what you release. Respond instead of react. Find meaning in the repetition. These aren't just principles, they're a new operating system for your life. And the installation happens in silence. In the quiet moments where you choose differently, where you build differently, where you become different. The world will keep being loud, keep being chaotic, keep demanding your attention, your energy, your peace. Your job is to build something inside yourself that the world can't touch. A foundation so solid that external circumstances can't shake it. That foundation is built one silent morning at a time, one mindful pause at a time, one private discipline at a time, one release at a time, one intentional response at a time, one meaningful repetition at a time. You don't need to announce this transformation. You don't need to document it. You don't need anyone's permission or validation. You just need to commit to yourself in silence, starting now. So, if this resonated with you, if you felt something shift, don't let this be just another video you watch and forget. Hit that like button, drop your affirmation in the comments and mean it. Share this with someone who's ready to rebuild. Subscribe to this channel because we're creating real transformation here, not just content. You're not broken beyond repair. You're ready for a rebuild. And the blueprint is right here. Now go build yourself into something the chaos can't break. Return strong, return clear, return unbreakable.